guys, it's Taylor. I just wanted to share with you guys a really simple peak pose, and if you don't know what a peak pose is, it's just basically what you're working towards your whole practice. Your whole flow, your whole routine is to warm you up or get you ready for this peak pose, and it's kind of the more challenging poses that really need you to warm up for. Crow pose is one of the most simple peak poses I think that you can learn. It's an arm balance, so it requires a lot of abdominal strength, balance, wrists. If you have bad wrists, I would recommend using blocks for this because it takes a lot of pressure off your wrists. Again, if you don't know all the benefits that you can use with blocks, you can also use blocks in downward facing dog. I don't think a lot of people know this, but if you feel like your wrists are really sore or arthritic or carpal tunnel issues, you can always grab blocks, and it helps take a lot of pressure off your wrists. But anyways, back to crow pose, or Bakasana, I think is the Sanskrit name if you're curious. Yeah, so let's start there. I like to start from Malasana, which is frog pose. So I like to bring my feet a little bit more than hip width distance apart. Toes point out, heels point in, and then I take my elbows normally to my knees and my hands heart center to really extend and open through the hips, roll the shoulders away from the ears. And I like to just start here. And then, so the peak pose we're gonna be looking at looks like this. This is with blocks, without blocks, it would just be here. All right, so what's going on in this pose, you wanna look a little bit in front of you, because wherever your gaze goes, you're gonna go, and you don't wanna tuck your chin and roll. So you wanna keep your eyes forward, your hands gotta be really wide so that there's a lot of surface area to balance on. And then you'll notice that I go from Malasana with my heels on the mat to, like, I don't even know what you call this, but it's almost like I'm starting to go to a forward fold, but I start to come up onto my toes. I start to lift my hips up. My hands are planted, and I try and bring my knees into my armpits. So you'll see I try and like snuggle them in there, right? So that they can sit on top of my biceps. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna slowly start to rock weight onto my hands. And you can, this is a good way to start learning it. You can lift one foot at a time. And what's really important about this pose is that you're kicking your heels up into your glutes. So I see a lot of times people do crow pose and they leave their heels down here. Crow pose is here with the heels tucked, right? So really focus on pulling the heels to the glutes and lifting up through your Mula Bandha, which is this low floor of your abdomen. It's the muscles that you start and stop urination with. There's no other way to say that, but that's what you really want to think about when you're lifting up, is lifting through that low floor. So you take the hands to block or the earth, and you start to come into from your Malasana, right? And you start to lift your hips and come onto your toes, lift the knees and the armpits, bring the head low, but keep the gaze forward, spread your fingers wide, start to rock onto your hands as you pull the knees up towards the armpits even more, start to lift your hips, and maybe you just do one at a time. Maybe you just try and hover here, right? But notice how my heel is way up by my glutes and not hanging out down here. It's really trying to lift along with this low floor of my abdomen, right? And then when you feel comfortable, maybe you try and lift all the way to 2. Really squeezing. It really takes a lot of strength. Really push through your hands to push yourself away from the ground. If you're lazy here, you're just gonna sink. So you really gotta focus on pushing away as you bring the heels up and pull up through the low floor. So that's crow pose, or Bakasana. Really out of breath from that. Yeah, it's just a peak pose, and I thought it'd be fun for you guys to try because I don't bring them into our classes a lot, just because I just want to make sure everybody feels comfortable and not overwhelmed. And a lot of people here don't practice yoga in their daily life. It's something quite new here, and so I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable in their space and doesn't feel overwhelmed with anything. But I think now that we're all at home and in our own privacy, this is the time to try out things that we're uncomfortable with or scared to do in public, scared of embarrassment, and try and become comfortable with it by ourselves. So I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you're interested in more peak poses, let me know. But I hope all is well, guys. Namaste.